Alright my friends, how you all doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a fresh episode of our brand new Planet Zoo build, Tropical Wings Zoo. So today my friends, we're going to get into a brand new build. We're actually going to welcome our very first animal to the zoo, and I'm really excited to bring that to you, my friends. If you've missed last episode, it's linked above for you right now. Make sure you go check that one out and go get caught up, basically. I believe in the episode we were kind of like finishing off the entrance plaza and stuff. It's a really cool episode. Make sure you go and check it out. Now, before we jump into anything in today's episode, I need to confirm the results of the street and city names polls that we were running in the comments section from sort of like episode 2. Obviously, like, I've counted and tallied it all up, and there's been 2 runaway winners. I can't remember who the street names were for. I'll try and find that name, but yeah, I'm going to reveal the name of the city and the street names, and then I've not done it for this episode, but what I will do is for next episode I'll get all the street names basically all marked up. There were a few comments as well naming the church and things like that, so I'm going to basically, you know, pick the ones I really like and I'm going to name the churches and stuff as well. I think because I think that's a really nice touch. I think it would be nice to have absolutely everything in the city named, and then we'll jump into today's build. What I am going to say, my friends, is this kind of came together really organically, because my initial plan was that I was going to start the African elephants. I've not done that, so I have decided to do something else. I didn't draw a plan like I did for the entrance, kind of gone against the grain because I wanted to draw up a plan for everything that I did in this series, but just decided against it. So once I'm done with this, I'll jump straight in and we'll take a look at what I've managed to build. So first and foremost, my friends, city name suggestions. The winner of the city name suggestions was option D, which came in from Leaf Production, and it was Brixford. So the city is now going to be known as Brixford. Really happy about it. I loved all the names anyway, but I think that one does sound very, very sort of British, and that's kind of you know, the sort of thing we're going for. So Brixford is what we will affectionately refer to this city as going forward in the storyline and in the lore. I'm sure there will be some more stuff added to the story and the lore in the next few episodes. I know that's kind of gone a little bit quiet because you know, we've just been in the early stages of building, but I'm sure we'll be adding a few more things. And then as far as the street names are concerned, my friends, the winner of that was A, and that came in from the Persian Pig, and the street names that were suggested were Irwin Way, Crap Boulevard, Edinburgh Drive, Marvin Street, Gallant Lane, Goodall Drive, Hannah Lake and Corwin Canal. Named the lake and the canal as well, which was really, really cool. And yeah, I'll take them and I will name the city. Just to confirm all of the poll results and stuff, D got a lot of votes compared to the rest, as did A for the street name. So lovely work from the Persian Pig and from Leaf Production, and a massive thank you to anybody that you know, number 1 voted, but 2 sent some suggestions in to me. I love it when you guys are involved in the series and interacting. Now, next thing, the result of the poll that I was running for the animals will basically give away what we were doing and what I'm going to be showing off in today's episode. If you didn't see it, I run a poll on the community page on the YouTube channel for 3 suggestions. We were going to either build lemurs, flamingos, or a biome house, and I'm now going to show off exactly what I've done. And so here we are, my friends. We are back in the zoo. We're back at Tropical Wings. Now, lots of little bits and bobs have been added, it does have to be said, and I'm going to show them off as well. I've got started on one of the tunnels as well that's going to work its way over to where the African elephants and the African area is going to be, so that's really cool. It's a work in progress. It is not finished, but I am going to show it off because I feel like I've managed to do a pretty good job. Tunnels are really, really difficult things, you know, to mess about with on this game. I'm going to be honest, it gave me sleepless nights. It drove me crazy, but you know, we've got it started, and so we can kind of work our way. And I'm going to explain at the end of today's episode how the next few episodes are going to pan out and the way that I'm going to kind of build this first part of the zoo. I'm going to kind of build this zoo to a point where we have enough animals so that then I can open it up to the guests. And I'm going to put walls up for areas that are coming soon, and then that way we can build the storyline and the lore a bit better as we go along. I am also going to bring up something that's not to do with this series at the end of the episode as well, so stay tuned for that, my friends, if you are interested in other things that I do where Planet Zoo is concerned. But anyway, let's take a look at what I've been up to, basically. So I showed all this off last episode, I do believe. You're going to see I've started doing, a bit more planting. I've actually got this wall in now. The tunnel is over here, and we'll take a look at the tunnel first, because the big reveal is, of course, the very first animal that we've placed in the zoo. I know the title's giving it away. I'm not saying it. I kind of tried to build up a little bit of excitement for it. But yeah, I've kind of put in this plant in. I decided to fill this bit in. Now, what I've done is I've basically built the logo of the zoo with switch pieces, and I kind of thought this would be a really cool photo opportunity. So yeah, it's lots of switch pieces. Let me just get it up on the screen. You'll see, look, 289 pieces, but I think it was well worth it because I think it looks really, really cool. And you can imagine, you got the logo here, people would come up, have their photo taken with it and stuff, and I think it's like a really nice placement, as you enter the zoo as well. I did put it on some framework above this part here, but I think because we've got all of this wood and stuff and this is all quite busy already, it just didn't really work. So instead, I've gone with it over here. I think it's a really, really nice touch. And I'm really happy with it because this is the first sort of mosaic-y sort of work that I've done, some real custom work that I've done, and I think it's come out an absolute treat. So I said I was going to do that. I've managed to get it done. We've got our little statue. I've just got to finish off doing all the planting in here. I'm going to probably go quite dense in this area. I'm going to build this up quite nicely because it'll build up a shield for the zoo so that not too much is given away. They like to... Lots of zoos like to keep everything sort of enclosed and a bit of a secret and use noise rather than, visuals to draw people in. So I'm going to build all this up at a later date. I just haven't really got round to it because I've been busy working on this over here that I'm going to reveal in a moment. Now, this is the tunnel that I've been working on, ladies and gents. Like I've already said, it was a slog, I'm going to be honest with you, but I needed to get this in because I've not really done much of this stuff before. I've not really done too many tunnels. I tend to go more with bridges or raised platforms and things like that. But I said to myself when I wanted to start this project that I wanted to really test myself. And so obviously terrain differences and stuff like that was always going to be a big test. I already kind of tested myself a lot where the city was concerned, building the canal and the raised area at the back and the way that the map does go sort of from low to high. So I've tested myself a lot, and again I think I've tested myself again where this tunnel is concerned. Now this is obviously going to go over into this area over here, and this is going to be sort of like where the elephants and some of the African animals live. I think some of the other African animals are going to live over in this corner as well, because I kind of want Africa to be sort of a journey, and we've got lots of African animals to try and fit in. So yeah, I've done all these sort of custom railings and stuff. We've got a little part here which is basically staff access. I do need to put a railing probably on the front there for safety reasons and stuff, so that needs to be done. I kind of continued the wall design that we had. I think it really just worked nicely. It really works along the street as well, and yeah, I just carried it on up here, and then we put the fence in and whatnot just to cap off the back of this building, and we'll probably do all that stuff at a later date. As you can see, power boxes, lights, the lot. So the way that I've done this is that I've obviously carved all this out. And then, we've done this tunnel design here. This here is a bit of an overhang. Like it's not like a straight you know, sort of cliff edge. It does actually kind of like roll over and flatten out, but I felt that it just looked a bit strange with it just being all bricks and stuff, and I wanted to bring in some plant life and whatnot. So I was taking a look at other zoos, and London Zoo's got a really good example of tunnels and stuff, and they've got this part where they build all this up, and they've actually got a building at the top here, but all of this is sort of all planted up, and it does look really lovely. The thing about London Zoo is the entrance to their tunnels is really nice because it's old sort of Victorian style, but because this is a new zoo, a very new zoo and a new build, I didn't want to go with anything too old. I wanted it to appear quite modern, and that's why I've gone with the design I have, but just taken little bits from you know, existing things in the world. But I do think it does look really nice. We'll work our way down. This is what the inside of the tunnel looks like. Obviously I've lit it all up. I've actually put some benches in here as well in case people want to take a bit of time off. What I do intend to do is put you know, some boards inside here, sort of advertising, you know, the African area, advertising, you know, like the penguin pool that's going to come and stuff like that, so that, you know, that you can see some of the other stuff that you can see in the zoo, and I'm going to put it in the gaps in between, and I think it'll be a really nice touch, because you do see a lot of that stuff in zoos, and I think it'll be a nice touch, and obviously it works its way through and comes out the other end. But yeah, not too much else to look at there, but I just wanted to show it off because I'm pretty pleased with it. The trouble is I've got another one to do, obviously up the other end, and I do have this side to decorate, so we'll see how successful I manage to pull off the other side. But it's a work in progress, but a work in progress I'm pretty happy with. But let's head back this way, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to take you through the entrance now. We come inside here, and a lot has changed. Like, a lot has changed. I've started adding more plants. We've got a new backstage gate over here. I kind of finished this area off. I've put some plants and stuff in over here as well, but I've done it in a way, hopefully, I've been strategic enough that you can actually see the animals' habitat and stuff, so you can actually enjoy your ice cream and look over, and you will see the animals that we've got. And I am going to press play when we get over to the animals. I know I show a lot of stuff off on pools and whatnot, but I am actually going to press play so I can show them off properly to you guys. But yeah, I still haven't done this signboard here. I totally forgot about it. I know I've got to do this, and it'll probably be one of the first things I do when I've finished recording today's episode. But yeah, I've not really added too much more over here, just some more lights and stuff. Like, I've added lights along the stairs, and the floor. I've actually changed all the floor. That's something I should show off. So I've put a design on the floor now, so that it looks as though it's sort of slabs and whatnot. And I really actually think it brings the area to life. I did the slabs really strange up here, so I'd done this in this direction here, and then decided for some weird reason to go in another direction here. I don't know if it works or not, and then it goes in another direction over here. So yeah, it is a bit all over the place, but I quite like the fact that it's structured that way, and it's not completely perfect because it is a bit of a weird shape, the area anyway. So yeah, that's that. It's all done, and it's looking pretty good actually. All the toilets are done. So we work our way over here, my friends, and I get to welcome you to our Flamingo Lagoon. It's a new, it's our first animal. It's a new part to the zoo. Like I've already said, I didn't draw up a plan for it. It just came together organically. What I knew I wanted to do was have a really big pool and a small sort of ground area with a hut. I wanted it to be sort of I wanted it to be a hybrid between what San Diego do and what Chester Zoo do. Chester Zoo have got this really big wooden sort of flamingo house, and then they've got the pool and whatnot, and then San Diego have got this really cool like winding lagoony type pool, and people come up to the edge and the water's to the edge of that. And so I've kind of I've kind of taken those two and then made my own version and made like a hybrid, and I do think it's come out quite nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press play because I want the animals to move about and stuff. So yeah, we're going to do that. Now, obviously, first thing you're going to notice is new planters. These are not like, you know, proper planters like this sort of stuff, because I want to do more of this. I want to do more of this where we don't cover everything up. It's a bit more natural. You know, obviously I've done it along the edges here. I did it over here as well. And so I'm going to continue with this, you know, throughout the zoo. But it just kind of breaks this area up a little bit. It does create a bit more shade. It was quite open and I felt like we needed a bit more planting. And obviously it's a nice place to put seating and whatnot. Now, one big thing I do need to explain is the flooring. And we will explain that in a moment. But as you come through this gap, this is the Flamingo Lagoon, my friends, and I am absolutely in love with it. I think it looks really, really cool. We've got like a shallow and a deep end. The planting's really nice. It's really natural. Obviously the hut, and then we've got custom education boards. And I tell you something now, they just set it off. They really, really do. I'm in love with the fact we can make custom education boards now. I just think it's a massive, massive bonus. So obviously the first thing you are going to notice is the shape. I have avoided squares. I realised that something that I do a lot that is probably annoying to a lot of people is that everything is, you know, in sort of polygon, you know, shapes. So it's, you know, squares, rectangles, pentagons, that sort of stuff. I always go with that sort of thing. This, I wanted it to feel, I wanted to use curves because I wanted it to feel like water. Water doesn't, you know, move like that. Waves crash in sort of cylindrical formations and stuff, and I wanted to go with that sort of thinking, and so I have used some really cool shapes, and you know, just been really selective about the planting and stuff as well, and the way that I've done it. I've gone with like a murky green type water because algae would affect these sort of ponds and stuff. Even though it's brand new, it would have an effect, you know, on the pond and whatnot. So I have done that. So first and foremost, over here we've got this little bit of this bit of ground that's a different shade. Now, I was contemplating putting an education point in here where, you know, one of the educators come up and talk to you about the flamingos and stuff, but I'm not sure if the flamingos would be one of those animals that they would do that. But I still think we can place something here. I'm going to have a little think about it, but I do think we can put something in here that'd be pretty cool. And then, yeah, this is one of the custom education boards that I've built up myself. It's quite hard to see at the moment because of the way the lighting is and stuff. But yeah, I do think they look pretty. They do look pretty cool. I love the fact you can put all your own information on there. This is going to be like something that I use throughout the zoo as well. This Learn Tropical Wings. I want there to be these little stations where, you know, the youngsters can go and have a read and actually learn something about the animals. And yeah, just keep going from there. So we work our way around this way. I'm going to walk you around the path first, and then I'll take you into the habitat, and we'll have a good deep dive inside as well. So you carry on walking around, and you know, the viewing areas are quite large and they're quite vast. I've done this on purpose. I just wanted there to be, you know, almost like a 180 viewing area of it. Now, there is a big thing when you are building habitats like this. You shouldn't be able to see people on the other side. That's like a big. It's like a big no, but you can get away with it with certain animals, and the flamingos are one because, you know, of the way that you can, you know, build their habitats and whatnot. And because of that, I've decided to just kind of get away with it. We've got these as well as the education boards. We've got flamingo facts. So it's just a fun fact about the flamingos and stuff, which I think is a pretty cool thing to do. And obviously, what I love is the fact that you haven't got to have the same picture. You can change the artwork up as well. So yeah, we'll continue walking around this way, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, some more planting just to kind of break it up a bit, and you know, give us some more shade as well. And again, some more planting over here, and a nice little seating area. What was nice was because of the way this pathway has curved around, it was a really good opportunity to put some seats and a bin. If you can imagine sitting here and looking out and watching the flamingos, that'd be a really, really cool place to sit. Again, another one of those education boards around here, and we continue round. Now, I've not finished the pathing off here, and the reason for that is I don't know if I'm going to go off in this direction. I don't know if I'm going to have to continue this pathing a bit more, so I've decided to just kind of leave it for now. And also, I'm not finished the planting because I was umming and ahhing if I wanted to put a statue or a water feature or something like that there, but I'm probably actually going to plant it a bit more. But yeah, this is another view of the Flamingo pool, which is pretty cool. You get a really good look at the Flamingo shed over here, which is quite nice. And then we carry on walking around this way. And the reason I've done a little viewing area here, even though it's right at the back of the Flamingo pond, is this is where the deep end is. So yeah, you can get to see them having a little swim. There is a slightly raised part there where the plants are, because what I've done basically is I've actually put a proper planter in. Because the bottom's all concrete, plants wouldn't grow out of it, so I've put like a proper planted station in, which is why the plants in the water are quite strategic. And then again, we've got another one of those Flamingo facts over here for the guests to have a little read of, and that's pretty much like the viewing areas. Back here, eventually, I'm going to put like a water station, and I'm going to have pumps here, so that when we get to those stages, if it ever needs to be, drained of all the water pump can then fill it back up with the fresh water and whatnot. You can actually see it there, the little drains that we've put in the pool as the light catches it in the right way. But yeah, this is kind of like the deep end over here. So let's just jump in so I can show you the habitat. So the majority of it is pretty shallow. As many of you know, flamingos wade through the water rather than swim majority of the time anyway, as they're filter feeding and whatnot. So yeah, they will sort of wade through the water. So the majority of it's shallow, and then as you can see, there's a little line there. That's where it takes a little bit of a drop off and it gets deeper over there. I decided to put these little islands in. Now, I believe it was San Diego Zoo that it might have been, but they've actually got an island on their one where the flamingos breed. They've actually got like the right mud and stuff that they would build nests out of on there, and that's actually how they get the flamingos to breed and lay their eggs a bit more naturally. And I thought it was a really, really cool idea. So obviously, I know I've used mulch and some plants and whatnot, but it is very similar sort of thinking to what they've done. And so I decided to do that because I thought it was quite a cool idea. So you do have these two little islands. I've managed to put the one of the feeders in the water. It's just above the water line, so it actually works. And I just thought it was a really, really cool way of kind of hiding it. I didn't really have any of the space on the land to do it, so I decided to kind of hide it in here. As you can see, we've got a few more drains here if we ever needed to, drain it. And again, you can kind of see the planters under the water, which is why obviously it's a bit more strategic. And we work our way around here, my friends, and then yeah, you come to the deep end. And what I've done over this side is I've put a big willow tree in. I just feel like these are the perfect trees to use over water. They give you a lovely, element of shade, and the way that the leaves all drop down into the water, I just think they look really, really nice. And then as far as the plants are concerned in here, I've gone with a mixture of sort of grasses and bamboos, big bushes and that sort of stuff, just to kind of pack out the edges, just to hide the edges a little bit, and to pack it out. And then as you can see, we've gone with these ferns and grasses and whatnot over here around the edge, and just kind of left the majority of it open. I did consider just covering this whole thing in sand, but a lot of the flamingo habitats I was looking at, it's a real mixed bag actually, like between sort of grass and sand and muds and stuff that zoos use. So I just decided to go with a bit of a combination of the two. And then yeah, if we work our way over here, this is just their little indoor house. Now, where flamingos are concerned, you don't really need to bother with anything that's too complex. So yeah, I just built up this this beautiful sort of like little wooden shack, and it's more than big enough for our flamingos. I have noticed that we've got a bit of a drop off here, and I think that's because I put in this, and that does mess around with the terrain a little bit, so I just need to sort that out when I've finished today's episode. But yeah, that's that. So yeah, it didn't need to be anything too crazy. We got our electrics and our lighting in at the top. I've put this little vent in because obviously that would be like really important to kind of ventilate the shed and stuff. And then if we go through this way, this is kind of like the staff access. I do intend on sort of packing this area out a little bit, with like tools and worker gear and stuff like that. I do feel like, and maybe some timetables and just little bits and bobs on the wall just to kind of like make this a bit more interesting. I know I said I was going to try and save pieces where necessary and like not do this sort of stuff, but I just feel like this is something we might look at a fair amount. So yeah, I might decide to do it. If we come through this way, this is the backstage, basically, for the flamingos. Now, they're going to feed out this way. I'm going to talk about this in a moment. This is very much temporary. I just wanted to get the flamingos in for today's episode, so this is really temporary. But that might be a part of next episode, and we are going to talk about that. But as you can see, this backstage joins on to what we built last episode, that security depot and stuff, and it joins on back here. And then you will remember we had this little part here that we were going to sort out. I've put the gate on it now, but this now feeds in to the opening plaza, so we actually have another staff access area. Now, some people might be looking at this and thinking he's got so many staff access areas all over the place. Now, central sort of entrance plazas, especially where the animals and things like that are concerned, are quite central hubs to zoos, and so they would have lots of access points. So that's why I've decided to do this. I know we've got one here, we've got one around the back of this building, one on this side, and one over here, but I think it's necessary, and you want to make it as easy as possible for the staff to kind of move around the zoos. The roof is all done. It's just, you know, your general sort of styles that I go with, all the guttering's all in and that sort of stuff as well, and I just think this really come out nice. And you know, the fact that I didn't really have any particular plan for it, and it looks this way, I'm really happy. Like I'm over the moon with the way that it's come out. I think it's a really pretty looking habitat, and the fact that, you know, it's got flamingos in it, they might not be everyone's favourite, but I actually think they're a really cool animal in Planet Zoo, and one you should definitely get in your zoo because they're very active. They move around a lot. You know, they're quite easy to breed, so the numbers will increase. We have 10 flamingos, by the way. I went with quite a lot from the off. I just feel like the habitat's big enough to house that many straight away, so that's what I've decided to do. I think we've got 3 males and 7 females is what I went with. You know, that doesn't really matter too much where the flamingos are concerned. About the male to female ratio, you can kind of get away with it a bit more. So that's what I've done there, and I do just think it looks really pretty. Now, the one thing I do want to talk about, obviously this was supposed to go out yesterday, this episode, and one of the big reasons it didn't is the flooring and the pathing. Now, one thing that I really hope that they change, if they ever make another iteration of Planet Coaster or Planet Zoo, is the path system. It became a headache. Now, because obviously I've had to dig into the ground to sink the lagoon pool, obviously it left this ugly edge, which again annoys me with the terrain tool, that you can't just make a really clean edge. There was no way to do it when you're using, you know, curves the way I am. And so obviously to get the path in the way I needed to, I really needed to manipulate the terrain a lot, and then once you've got water in, your path can only go up so far. Now, there is a bit of a lip between the edge here and where the actual path ends or starts, however you want to look at it. So I had to cover this area up. I really didn't want to have to do that with this project, is cover every single bit of the floor up. I wanted to leave it a bit more natural like this because, again, it reduces the piece count, and I'm trying to be a bit more careful with that stuff. So yeah, it is what it is. It's one of those things I've had to go with it. I've gone with a grey just because it is a real concrete-y feel, and that's kind of like the path I want to go with. You know, and we're probably gonna join this up, but I'm just not sure if this is going to go off in another direction, which is kind of why I've left all of this, my friends. But yeah, I really hope you like the Flamingo Lagoon or pool, or whatever you want to call it. We probably need a name for it, but I'm absolutely in love with it. I think it is I just think it's a really lovely looking habitat, and I just love all the custom stuff that you can do now. I feel like Planet Zoo's kind of got to a point where we can customize everything so nicely. Like every single one of these education boards, you know, they're different. They all feel different, and so the area feels different. And just a nod to myself as well. It's big-headed to say this, but this railing design here, I love it, but again, it was a pain, and it's been a labour of love, this one. It's actually been a real pain to build, but I love it so much, and it's such a subtle habitat as well, and I think that's why I do really like it. Now, one other thing I do want to talk about is I asked for name suggestions for this. I'm going to call this restaurant because it is essentially, it's just an ice cream parlour, but we treat it like a coffee shop / ice cream parlour. We're going to call it Flamingo Flavours. There was one person in particular, I do apologise for not like shouting your name out, I can't remember exactly who you were, but you sent in a few really, really good name suggestions, and I'm actually going to save some of the other ones that you suggested for potential like future restaurants and stuff in the zoo, because I thought every single one of the names was bang on. But Flamingo Flavours is what we're going to go with, and I just wanted to show you the sort of views you can get if you were sitting over here, basically. So if you're sitting here and you look over, that's a really nice look, isn't it, at the Flamingo Lagoon now. If you're sitting here, you get an even better view. I do think it's really, really cool. Obviously, they're real over in the distance. And then over here as well, you get a bit of a view. You're a bit too far away if you sit here, and there is a bit of a bush in the way. But I tried to be as strategic as possible to make sure people could get a really, really good view. So I have been sharing the pictures on the Discord, as I always do, and someone was really surprised that I didn't build it over here, but my reasons for that is, going over this way, we're going to be going into Africa this way, and so I didn't want to put anything like in the way too much. We could probably get, you know, another animal in here potentially, like a smaller animal or something, and then we're going to feed over, and we're going to put animals in on the way. You know, I'm thinking over here, you know, we might as well move on and start talking about next episode. What I'm going to do is pause it, because I don't want too many years to go by, you know, just in case that needs to feed into the narrative. But yeah, that's the flamingo pool, and that's all the bits and bobs that I've done, and we're now going to finish today's episode by talking about next episode, and a little bit about Jamii right at the end as well, my friends. So we need to talk about next episode. My thinking last time out was that I was going to do the African elephants. Now, you know, I asked a few opinions in the Discord about doing the African elephants, or, you know, should I do them now because it's a completely separate part of the zoo, or should I work toward that? And lots of people think that we should actually work towards the tunnel, and then once we get there, then we can move over and we can build the African area, and we can make that a big thing. We can make that like 5 episodes where we just build out this huge African area. And I want to do the African area early in this build, and my reason for that is I was actually talking to Leaf Productions, who is another content creator where Planet Zoo is concerned. I was talking to him about it, and I was saying that we've got such fantastic African animals, but I always tend to put them to the back of my list of things to do, and I always, by the time I get to them in a project, it's not so much that my love for the project has disappeared, but like I've built so much already that I've kind of run out of ideas, and I've exhausted myself where the project's concerned. And so rather than leave it right to the end, I want to do Africa right at the beginning this time, because I want to give it all the attention in the world. And so what I think I'm going to do over the next maybe 1 or 2 episodes is we're going to work from this area here around this way towards the tunnel. We're going to basically pack out all of this stuff, whether it be backstage, whether it be another animal, whatever it may be. We're going to work our way around, and we're going to work towards that tunnel. And then once we've filled all this out and we've got to that tunnel, we will then move over here and we will begin work on the elephants in Africa and stuff like that. I think that's probably the best way to do this. I think it's the smartest way to do it as well. And then once we've done this, we can either then come out the other side of the tunnel and, you know, pack out the rest, or, you know, work up this way, or then we might be in a position where we can open the zoo. You know, there will be Africa to go to. You'll have the, you know, a few animals in the opening part. Another thing I'd love to get done as well is like the little staff area from the edge of this. From the edge of this part of this warehouse and we're going to go all the way up to this edge here, and we're gonna make that staff area. And that's what I was saying about these 2 buildings. They're very temporary there. They're actually going to place them in here. The trade building, I don't want that to just be something that gets lost somewhere. I think like a trade building is essentially something that potentially is used to some extent in zoos, and I kind of want to combine that with like a small animal hospital / quarantine area, because I think they would come into quarantine before then being moved out into the zoo and stuff. So yeah, I think that's another project. So I do feel like the next, I don't know, 3 or 4 episodes, we work on, you know, working our way towards that tunnel and packing this little area out. And then after that, it'll be, you know, all hands on deck where Africa's concerned. So that's going to be the next few episodes, basically, ladies and gents. Finally, my friends, before I wrap up today's episode, I just want to have a quick chat about JCP. I've been getting a few negative comments where Jamii Conservation Park is concerned, and one in particular, I maybe didn't reply the best way, probably didn't handle it the best way, but one in particular really got me, got my back up the other day. It really gave me the ump, and basically suggesting that, you know, Jamii's going to get forgotten about like Highland Zoo did because I've started a new project, and maybe I should finish one project before I start another. Now, I just want to, you know, address in this video that I never just throw a project away. My intention is always to finish everything that I start. Unfortunately, I've just had bad luck. Highland Zoo, for whatever reason, just stopped working. I couldn't finish it, and I was gutted that I couldn't finish Highland Zoo because I absolutely loved that project. It was the first one that we did on YouTube. Secondly, JCP isn't being forgotten about, isn't going anywhere. There hasn't been any uploads because I am slowly, you know, in the process of jumping in and out of that zoo, trying to reduce the piece count. I've been trying to change all of the education boards, which is a time-consuming thing, especially the custom ones, because I'm now having to replicate them into the stuff that you've seen today with the Flamingo boards, for instance. I'm having to replicate them like that, and it's not easy because I've got to go into Photoshop, and believe it or not, it's quicker to build something in the game than it is to actually build something in Photoshop. Even though I do graphic design and stuff, it takes a long time. And the trouble is, because I'm a graphic designer, everything has to be perfect. And that's why it's taken a little longer. Also, there's stuff in JCP that just doesn't need to be there. There's pieces in that zoo that I want to get rid of and, you know, reduce and make that a bit easier. It takes a long time. It takes like 10 minutes to load that zoo. And I think that shows you the extent of where we're at with it. So it hasn't been forgotten about. Yes, I'm doing this project. Yes, this is new. I think this zoo I'm excited about because as much as you guys are involved, the actual building of the zoo and the actual ideas are mine, and I'm excited to see, you know, where I can take it. And I'm already looking at this zoo. I'm already looking at the way it's laid out. I'm already looking at the style, and I can see how far my building has come as well. That's the thing. It's like you always want to see how far you've progressed, and I can already see from this zoo here that the progression in my build style and the game is tenfold, and that's an exciting thing to me. So, you know, you have to understand this is a hobby. It's not my job, and I want to enjoy it. And negative comments that I've been getting recently do affect my ability to enjoy content creation. So what I would suggest is, you know, don't jump to conclusions. There are always reasons for every action that I take, my friends, and I'm gonna leave it there. So my friends, that is another episode of Tropical Wing Zoo. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I hope you love the look of the Flamingo Lagoon. A labour of love. I'm in love with it. I think it's really cool. Starting animal, and I want to thank everybody who voted on the poll as well for this animal. I'm going to be doing that a lot more. I want you guys to, you know, be involved in some of the decision making. So do keep your eyes on the you know, the community page on the YouTube channel over the coming days, because I will be suggesting some more animals for the next part of our build. So make sure you keep peeled for that, and make sure you get voting, my friends. I don't know when the next episode will be. I don't know if it'll be at the end of this week or the end of next week. I'm not going to put timescales on anything. It's quite tough at the moment to get builds finished because I essentially am looking after Emily during the day, and I don't really have a lot of time, obviously, with my day job as well. So yeah, just basically just keep checking back on the channel. And, you know, a big thing as well, I will suggest it to everyone, if you've got Discord, come and join my Discord community. It's the easiest and best way to stay up to date. I know lots of people have joined it recently, and I absolutely love it. But yeah, I'm done, my friends. Make sure you hit the subscribe make sure you hit that subscribe button, my friends. If you are new, drop me a like on the video to support it. The more likes we get, the more eyes see my tiny little channel and my beautiful little builds. But my friends, I'm done and dusted. Stay safe, stay humble. Until the next one, see you all later.